Welcome to Art Talk Tuesday. We're on episode 39. We're in piece number 6 of the 15-piece series entitled the Asana series, which is all about yoga and the experience of yoga practice. The model we have for this piece, her name is Kirsten. She's with Black to Yoga, and really enjoy working with her and taking the photos to set up for the different pieces. I also have a piece of her in the same pose that's in a large acrylic. You may have seen that about 7 or 8, maybe 9 episodes ago. So this piece is entitled Mermaid Pose. The Sanskrit for that is Rajakapotasana. And this piece is in a horizontal format. As you can see, it's 20 inches wide by 16 inches high. This is the third piece in out of 3 that I've done depicting her. As I've said before, each artist has 3 images, and so this is the third and final image we'll be seeing of Kirsten. Here she's in mermaid pose. I really want to give this image a sense of grounding in terms of really getting a feel for how her body was really grounded down into the earth. So I really did a lot with playing with the shadows here to kind of create a sense of grounding into the figure. Here you see we go in here from a little bit of kind of a lightish purple here to a darker blue gray as we grade it back to kind of push that surface back to give us the illusion that there is a form going back into space. And then we see her body. I did a lot with the modeling here. This pose really shows off her strength. She's a lot stronger. When you look at her, you think that she's a lot more, what do we want to say, isn't as well defined. But as you can see here, as you begin to really look at her form, she's actually very well defined, very strong. And I wanted to pick that. I said before that she has long limbs, long arms, long legs. So I think this pose also shows that off quite a lot, because if you've got longer limbs, obviously it's easier to get into this pose, particularly reach back with the foot, bring the foot up towards the elbow, the stretching of the arm. So everything is stretched out in this pose. Even though you see that the legs seem like they would be compacted, this is actually considered a hip opening pose, and this also contains a back bend. It may not seem like it's not a real accented back bend, but there is a back bend, because as the hips are open, the tendency is one to fall forward or come forward. So she has to bend the back, stretch up and back to bring the arm back to catch the leg and these other things. So hip opening, back bend pose. Like I said, want to keep the figure very grounded. Want to play around a lot with this foot here. Try to do some delicate things in here in the watercolor to depict that. I push the shadow out here also on the edge here, creating another light source so they could really, like I said, ground this figure down into this background here to give it a sense of space and illumination. So I wanted you to be able to feel the weight that the figure is really grounded down into this space. Once again, stressing her long limbs here, arms long. You see that long forming arm here. You're still using the same color palette as the other 2 pieces of her, but once again, slightly different formations of the colors. And then just a slight bit of red here with the wristband. There is some tones of red, and overall this is a purple, but there is some tones of red in here. So you got deep in here some of the highlighted parts, or a little bit more red accents with some purple, then the deep blue. Only thing that's really black in here is this and some in the hair. There's no black in the floor surface, and really no black in here. Really no black in here either. So you got a blend of gradation here into this shadow that forms here. But I like this line coming down from the figure. You see, it's very undulating. The line is very undulating. It's very biomorphic, if we could use that term. Got this long kind of pointed here like a mountaintop, almost like a peak. And we got this just drifting down all the way down. So it takes your eye all around, and you get this circular motion that keeps you here into the figure, that keeps your eye locked into the figure. You enter in, you get this undulating, just going, moving around, okay? Eye moves down, around, back in. So it keeps you locked in, and so that kind of helps to control the focal point in this piece, particularly when you get the sense of grounding. So that pushes it down, keeps it batted down here. The lighter color, the yellow, it kind of expands out and up, so you get that sense of stretching, and also it's mirrored in the figure as she stretches out and keeps you locked in here. This symbol here is kind of undulating thing, something that I just kind of made up. It's a kind of a combination between a unilome and something else, which I don't know. but I think it lends to the figure here, and it also, with this horizontal composition, I think that this kind of brings your eye back in around, because you can enter in, come around, so even as this stretches out, you stretch more, come around, come down, which can lead you back into the piece, lead you back into the composition. So that's kind of what I'm doing with that. As I said before, this was one of the pieces that I was creating, finishing up the series after I was recovering from COVID. So it took me a long time to work on this piece. Sometimes I'd only work for maybe 20, 30 minutes in a day and have to go lay down and rest. So in some ways, there's some little mistakes here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, there's some little mistakes here in the laying down the watercolor in a couple of places. And but those accidents happen, and I like to let that be what it is. Sometimes you just have to let it be what it is in the process, instead of going back in and trying to clean it up or fix it. Just let it be, and let it be where it is. And I find that to be a more authentic way of me approaching my art. But that's just me. Different artists will tell you different things. Some people would start over even. It just depends. Depends on how bad it really is and how it's going. But I like to let some of those little mistakes happen. You see I've done a lot of modeling here in the figure here, using the more of the grayish and the bluish tones to kind of model this figure. And you see this skin tone, kind of some bright red, and some of the gold here is also mirrored in here. So it kind of gives the overall palette, even down here. You see some of the same gold color here into the figure down at the foot. So, and then some red and a little bit of purple. Just kind of gives the whole thing an overall kind of sense of continuity between the whole palette. We don't want everything to blend together and flatten out, but we do want a sense of continuity, so you don't feel like there's just a color stuck here, a color stuck there. You want things to kind of come together. At least I do. So that's what I do with my piece. This piece is valued at $1,000, as is every piece in the series. It is also available on my website in print form. You can also buy the original off the website. Prints start at about $34 for about a 4x6, or in this case it'd be 6x4, and then they can go up to as large as 40 or 50 by whatever. So feel free to check these out. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time. Peace.